Hey guys, how you doing? I figured I would let you all know we are doing a Patreon where we are offering early access. So if you want to check that out, feel free to click down in the description down below. There may not be an annotation on the screen for it. It's because YouTube's getting rid of annotations, but hey, that's how it goes. So if you want to check that out, feel free to click that, and I'll see you there.
Hello everyone, this is Renegades React, and I'm not saying I'm Batman, but I've never been seen in the same room at the same time as Batman. And this is a nostalgia critic about Batman, specifically the old 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, Good Year, and The Dark Knight, featuring Christian Bale as Batman.
Yep.
And we're going to compare and contrast them.
With we're not.
Doug is, and
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it, and we'll see what we think of Doug's
or that.
Or Doug.
Yeah.
That. We'll see what conclusion Doug comes to.
Yeah, I think this ought to be good.
Yeah. Let's give it a watch. So here we go.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to. And welcome to a new portion of the show called Old versus New.
I can't believe they got a picture of me in here.
This is where I take something old and nostalgic and compare it to a recent remake to find out which one is better. With that said, let's take a look at two of my favorite movies of all time, Batman and The Dark Knight. Now both these films push the envelope of how to make a comic book movie. They were dark, edgy, and constantly breaking the barrier between fun kiddie antics and epic adult dilemmas. But which one is truly better, the original or the reimagining? Now, I know technically Batman Begins was the first of these new movies, but Dark Knight is considered the best, and has the most similarities to the '89 film, battling the Joker and so forth.
Yeah.
Also remember that none of this is fact, it's strictly opinion, so don't go apeshit if you don't agree with me.
They still will.
Even if you are completely wrong. So, let's see who's the best bat as we compare Batman and The Dark Knight.
Man, that song, every time, it's stuck in my head. So easy.
Well, let's just cut to the chase and jump to the main character, Michael Keaton versus Christian Bale.
Like, I'd just break into it when we were playing through Batman. It just happened.
Well, it's worth it.
Now, to be fair, Christian Bale has a lot to act through. He has to play Bruce Wayne the college student, Bruce Wayne the outcast, Bruce Wayne the warrior, Bruce Wayne the drunken millionaire, and Bruce Wayne as Batman. Thank God they didn't ask him to do Bruce Wayne the transvestite. That would have destroyed him. Any one of those would be hard to do, and he has to do all five. But I have to admit, as hard as Bale tries, Michael Keaton is still the superior Batman. The main reason? He keeps all his pain inside. When you see Bale, you can instantly see someone who's either looking for attention or trying to hide something. With Keaton, he acknowledges that this is his battle and he'll fight it alone. If you heard this guy was Batman, you'd be like, yeah,
he barely did. But he never did a full smile.
You totally wouldn't believe it. In fact, a lot of people didn't. Many petitioned not to have Keaton as Batman because they couldn't see him in the role. But that's why he's so friggin' perfect. You wouldn't suspect him. Look when he grieves over his parents' death. This is all very, very subtle. No tears, no facial expressions, but you can feel the pain that he's going through. Where Bale still seemed a little lost and confused. And of course you have to look at them as Batman. Keaton is the only Batman who can actually smile and still look intimidating. It says, yeah, I got nothing to fear, bitch, your ass is grass. Bale in the costume just looks, well, silly. Now to be fair, that has a lot to do with the design. Keaton's costume was dynamic, classy, but also very threatening. Bale's always looked a little off to me. The nose was weird, and I think it was a little too bulky. It didn't really look like Batman. It looked like a guy dressing up as Batman.
Well, that's the old suit.
And of course, there's that infamous voice.
Yeah. This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good.
I know, everyone's made fun of this voice, so I've tried to Let's just say Keaton sounded very natural.
The Joker's taking hundreds of chemicals at the source.
And Bale's...
Read live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It didn't. In fact, let's play these threat scenes back to back.
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Where were the other drugs going?
I don't know.
Why?
You can tell Bale is trying to be threatening while Keaton just sort of naturally is.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Mr. Mom.
Even when he's trying to save a family's life, he still does that stupid voice.
You don't want to hurt the boy, Harvey.
Come on, people's lives are at stake. Can't you just cut the act?
Because you were the best of us.
Let's just pray he doesn't read at any orphanages anytime soon.
Good night, Moon. Good night, Moon.
Wow.
Good night, Star.
While still doing a good job, Bale can compete with the unexpected master.
By a dog.
Yes.
Point goes
Yes,
to
it
Keith.
does.
Sorry to
It's a
disappoint.
big dog.
But a hero can only be as good as his villain, and the Joker is one of the greatest villains of all time. But again, which one is the true clown prince of crime? Ledger or Nichols?
Hamill. Sorry, that's not in the running. But what are you gonna do?
Which is the best Batman,
I have to
Conroy?
admit, when I heard Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker, I said, what, the prissy guy from A Knight's Tale?
He will
I
rock
saw
you.
the design of the character, that didn't
I
help
love
much
that movie.
either.
I do
He looked
too.
like a kid who put on grandma's makeup for him. How is that threatening? Even after his tragic death, that didn't change anything for me. I still thought he was gonna suck. Nobody can top Jack, and nobody ever will. He's practically been playing the damn part all his life.
This is
So
true.
what makes them think this pretty boy can do any better? Well, thankfully, I was 100% wrong. Heath Ledger is not only funny as the Joker, but he's also shit-your-pants scary.
Yeah.
I think this is because he encompassed every previous Joker that had existed before. The comic, the cartoon, the Nicholson performance. There's even a little bit of Cesar Romero in there. Just listen to that laugh and tell me they don't sound alike.
Yep.
But while combining all the previous Jokers together, he also managed to still stay fresh and new, paying homage to the other renditions, but still giving his own take as well. Nicholson is great and funny, but he's more creepy than he is scary. Ledger was actually terrifying, and this is the scene I think cemented it
That
for
scene
everyone.
right
He
there.
was so scary you could hear a pin drop after this moment was over.
I remember this.
Every day he doesn't, people will die. Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word.
Yep, pretty much.
It's interesting how in the 89
No one
film we
actually
know
let
all
him
about the
direct those
Joker and little
himself.
about Batman,
Wow.
yet in the new films we know all about Batman and little about the Joker. In both cases, I say less is more. The more mystery there is about the character, the more fascinating we often find them. And Ledger's character is no exception. Jack, I love you, but this is the Joker that seems to have everything. All the laughs, all the intelligence, and all the frights.
I have given a name to my pain.
His name is Doug Walker.
Oh.
But what good is good characters without good supporting characters? I don't know, but this film had some good ones.
Yeah. Man.
This isn't quite as easy to pick out because both films had a really good cast. I guess we'll look at girlfriends first. Kim Basinger versus Maggie Gyllenhaal / Katie Holmes. Now, believe
More
it or
Maggie
not, I
Gyllenhaal.
actually didn't mind Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. True, it looks like she's about 12, but outside of that,
She's turned face. She's
and the
got
same
a
can be said
nah,
for
she's
Gyllenhaal,
got a baby
who both
face.
play very tough and intelligent roles. Basinger, on the other hand, was a very typical damsel in distress. Always in trouble, always being saved, and I swear, speaking only in screams.
Kim Basinger can scream though. I will give her
But
that.
to be fair, she was a much more interesting character. She was kind, insightful, but was also cunning and quick. She was supportive, but also had her limits, which made her seem a lot more realistic. She really stood out as a character where the other two just seemed to stand out as role models. That isn't bad, it's just not very memorable. Alfred is also kinder in this movie, but I have to admit, I love how anxious and involved Kane gets in the new films. But, dude, does he always have a speech prepared?
Yes.
Batman stands for something.
That's the point.
That's
You spat in the
that's
face.
just Michael Caine, I think.
Criminals. You squeezed them, you hammered them to the point of desperation. That's the point of Batman. He can make the choice that no one else can make.
Good God, he can give a speech about anything. Hey, Alfred, you want some breakfast?
A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones.
I just want to know if you want eggs! Pat Hingle was good as Commissioner Gordon, but Gary Oldman is always a powerhouse actor, giving even a small supporting role so much weight. Though maybe he just relates with people that dress up like giant bats. I can't imagine why. And I guess there's really no point in comparing Harvey Dent, as the first film barely mentions him and eventually turns into... Yeah, that never happened. But overall, I think I have to go with the 89 film. Why? Because goddammit, it has Bob in it, and I fucking love Bob.
Bob is a
He's the
killer.
henchman that doesn't say anything,
henchman.
do anything, but for some reason
Best
he
henchman.
really leaves an impression. He's like the Boba Fett of Batman. He barely does anything, but for some reason people just love him. He even got his own action figure. Why? Why the fuck does he have his own action figure? I don't know. I don't
Bob.
care. I just know that little bit of coolness tips the pile over to Batman's side. I love you, Bob. We all do.
Are my number one guy.
So far it's 2-0.
Yeah, Batman by a Bob.
But hey, what fun are
Bye,
good
Bob.
supporting characters if they can't beat the shit out of each other? Here's to the best action scenes.
Yeah, this.
I gotta say this is probably gonna go to Dark
Both
Knight.
these films have really good action, but I'll admit that Batman's is a little more traditional. I mean,
Dated.
the settings are great and the fighting is cool, but it's nothing really spectacular. I mean, look at this. They fire randomly in the air. Why? Isn't that a waste of ammo?
Yes.
What, they looking for birds to shoot or something? Despite Batman Begins suffering from way too much shaky cam, Dark Knight learned its
Really?
lesson.
Nobody
and
with
gave
a
us
Robin
really
joke?
intense action scenes.
Ashamed of all of
The
you.
best one being the car chase in the middle of the film. This was really hardcore and had a great amount of suspense and tension. The rest of the action is decent too, though the last fight at the end did seem to go on a bit. The action seemed much grander in Dark Knight, where the grandness of all the other films is somewhat limited to its effects budget. Yeah, that doesn't look like a model at all.
Yeah.
Again, I love the action in both films, but Dark Knight had you glued to its scenes from beginning to end. And I'd say that definitely deserves the point.
Badass right there. Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Man, Bob's great.
Bob is really
So now it all comes down to the most important factor of all, the story. Which one was best written, best directed, and just overall best told? Well, let's dig in a little closer to find out. Now, to be fair, the plots to both these films is all over the map. Neither of them are that coherent, but then again, with the Joker, that's kind of the idea.
Okay,
The motivation of Ledger's Joker seems to be to spread anarchy and chaos, but Nicholson's motivation actually is anarchy and chaos. It just sounds crazy.
I make art until someone dies.
How totally nuts is that? That's like saying, I want to be an architect. I need bodies. The film also climbs to a decent climax, building on top of every scene while still leaving time for the audience to breathe. In Dark Knight, the whole third act is like one big climax. It's intense, but it does get a little tiring after a while. Can't there ever be a break?
All right, give me a minute. I need water.
In the '89 film, a lot of people have problems with Batman being so quieted in the shadows while the Joker is so loud and soaks up the attention.
But
really,
That's how
what's
it
so
is.
Yeah.
brilliant about it. Batman is mysterious, and he is quiet. That's what makes him so fascinating. And that's really my main problem with The Dark Knight. They analyze everything. In Batman, all the choices, dilemmas, and consequences are implied and hinted at. The rest you can just see from how the characters look and their actions. That's the idea of a visual medium. There's really only one talk about why Batman does what he does, and it seems very much like how a real person would talk.
Look, sometimes I don't know what to think about this. It's just something I have to do.
Why?
Because nobody else can.
In Dark Knight, everything is talked about, and I mean everything.
When the chips are down,
yeah,
these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Don't question me about ethical dilemmas. I read Psychology for Dummies too.
It's like if the characters of Greek mythology actually talked about and analyzed their problems all the time. It wouldn't be the same. It's not their place to talk about it, that's the job of the viewer. The '89 Batman movie talked a little, but said a lot. The dilemmas are still there, they're just not analyzed to death. And don't get me wrong, I love the talks in The Dark Knight, but they seem like conversations that movie critics would have, not the actual characters. So like I said before, the plot is kind of the big deciding point here. So, which one do I like better? Well, as much as I love The Dark Knight, I have to say Batman is the one that's more compact. It just seems like a more classic story, more subtle and more epic. I love the themes in The Dark Knight and how adult they make the protagonist, but it just seems more like a character study than it does an actual 3-act movie. So even though I love both films, and I'll probably get a lot of hate mail for this, I have to say that Batman is the superior film.
I'd love to see that Batman remade with today's
So the old wins
effects.
in this situation. Does that mean I don't like The Dark
And
Knight?
choreography.
Not at
And
all.
choreography.
I just like Batman
Oh,
a little
man.
more. And my own hope is that Christian Bale doesn't take what I said about it too seriously.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Hello?
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm sorry, man. I just thought...
No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 fucking second.
Well, that's not very nice.
And what the fuck is it with you? Are you professional or not?
Well, I don't like to brag,
Fuck's
but
sake, man, you're amateur.
Look, I don't know why you're getting so angry.
Shut the fuck up.
Maybe I could've...
No! No! I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass.
Why are you so angry? I just don't get it.
What don't you get about it?
Hold on. I'm a nostalgia critic. I remember it, so you
Give
don't
me
have
a
to.
fucking answer.
I just don't get why you made Batman sound like he had lung cancer.
Oh, good for you. You're a nice guy.
Why, thank you.
Shut the fuck up.
You shut up! Go make Rain of Fire too!
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
I loved Reign of Fire.
Okay.
And yet, see, all I could I say, oh, good for you. I say that all the time because of that. It's so good.
Like,
Oh my
I love
gosh.
Reign of Fire. I just want to like get super ripped and like shave my head and carry around a big axe and just cover myself in grease.
I think
Man.
if you shaved
You
your
like
head,
Matthew
the
McConaughey?
entire
Yeah.
internet would rise up in anger.
Oh,
Not if I grew my beard out more and got super buff and had like an awesome dragon tattoo and a sweet vest and a battle axe.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about Red Dragon.
Go make Rain of Fire 2. No. Yes.
That movie would be fantastic.
I was gonna say, Rain of Fire. I never really got a chance to watch it.
It's a weird movie, but it's fantastic. Like dragons ruin everything. Like you can't make a good dragon movie. That is a good dragon movie. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I remember there was one I watched when I was a kid. There was a dragon movie. It was a Dragonheart.
Yep.
With
Sean
Dennis
Connery.
Quaid and Sean Connery played
That
the
was
dragon.
okay. That was a good dragon movie.
Well, okay. Here's the thing about that movie. It made me sad. It made me sad because
yeah.
he was the last dragon and everything, and it.
Well, until they made the sequel, and I don't know.
No, we don't talk about
I don't
that.
acknowledge that movie that you're talking about. It doesn't exist.
That YouTube movie, as we call them.
Yeah, that YouTube
fan
movie.
film.
That
thing that
shouldn't
never happened.
exist. Shouldn't exist.
It never happened.
Nope,
Exactly.
doesn't exist.
All right. So okay. Go ahead, Elena.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was gonna ask Micah. Do you agree?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, that's what I
You
thought.
think Dark Knight's better?
Personally, for me, like I understand his points and totally down. He made good points. For me, like I love the Dark Knight trilogy. Just because Nolan really kind of dug into the philosophy behind it, and that's what I go out for. I like all the breakdowns of everything.
Yeah.
You like the analytical stuff.
I do too.
I do as well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I get his point that characters in Greek tragedies don't talk about their motivations,
But to be fair, if characters in Greek tragedies talked about their motivations, there probably wouldn't be as many Greek tragedies.
Okay, that's the thing though, is like characters in Greek tragedies absolutely do talk about their motivations. Like
it's just that when they talk about them, they don't realize that their motivations are wrong and stupid.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't question the morality of their choices as much as they do in The Dark Knight.
Well, and you see, here's the thing: media's changed since Greek tragedies.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Well, you see, Greek tragedies, those were mainly like displayed in as presented at the crude format. I say as like a stage play.
Yeah.
Where when they were presented in at presentations and everything, but in terms of film and everything, I think the different film style. I think the difference between those two are just night and day, and also film you can tell a lot more of the story and you can get more in depth with the characters. I think the more you learn about the character, the more involved you are. I mean, it's just the more invested you are. That's just like with okay. Here's the thing. I liked Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel.
Where's Rachel?
Well, okay, but to me, I think if Katie Holmes wouldn't have gotten Tom Cruise, which that's why she said no to the sequel because because didn't want her to do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, okay, here's the thing: I always see Katie Holmes as Rachel, not Maggie Gyllenhaal, and that's just because I liked her performance a bit better.
And I mean,
to me, she seemed more invested into Bruce, whereas Maggie Gyllenhaal seemed like Bruce was a hindrance to her career moving forward.
Well, see, it's never optimal when you have to change actors.
I can
only think of one situation where the actor change actually helped.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah. Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, much better roadie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no offense to Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard felt like he was there being in a movie. Don Cheadle is roadie.
Don Cheadle feels like roadie.
Yeah.
Well, you see, replacements like that, sometimes it does work. I mean,
sometimes it
well,
works.
it's just like Brian Johnson taking over for Bon Scott in AC/DC. It worked.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about playing the same character though. I'm talking about in movies playing the same character. You're trading one actor for another.
Well, yeah, you're trading lead singers.
Yeah, but they're not the same character. They're taking the same part, but they're not intended to be the same.
I think they did it in Last Man Standing, the Tim Allen show, his new show. Because the oldest daughter, her character changed actresses, like from the first season.
Oh yeah, they did that in Roseanne also.
Oh yeah, with Sarah Chalk.
I haven't seen any of Last Man Standing. Is it good?
It's pretty funny, yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's just
okay.
almost a gender bent Home Improvement.
Take Home Improvement, but he has three girls instead of 3 boys.
Yeah, and he's not,
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, and he basically is the marketing manager for a fictional Bass Pro.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Micah, that seems like
it's actually pretty funny.
I think I'll have to censor that now.
Yeah, you might have to.
Because you just gave.
What did I give away? That he works for a fictional Bass Pro in the show.
Anyway,
literally, it's a Bass Pro with like Outdoor Man photoshopped onto it.
All right.
Outdoor Man.
That's what it's called.
Outdoorman.
That's a terrible name for a store.
It's called Outdoor Man. But yeah, and it's got a lot of like political shots, but it's like both ways.
It's
in the middle.
That's
because
Tim plays the middle.
Because he's fairly like right, and then like his 2 oldest daughters are pretty firmly left, and then the mom kind of bounces back and forth, and the youngest daughter is kind of with the dad.
Yeah.
It shows the parallels between Generation Y and Generation Z, because Generation Y, the millennials, our generation, we're seen as pretty liberal, whereas Generation Z, they are markedly more conservative. I mean, in terms of, I think it's like 70% consider themselves conservative.
Now, what is Z? Is that Z is that
post-millennial?
Post-millennial.
Oh,
okay.
Post-millennials, yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Have we gotten to post-millennials yet?
A lot of the studies, a lot of the surveys,
a lot of them are in high school,
especially done like
in high school and getting jobs
by like economic foundations that I follow and stuff. Is it depends on what trigger words you use, because generally, like, you can say things and people say, "Oh, I'm for or against that," but then when you actually break down the definitions, most people are actually pretty libertarian when you get down to it, if they're honest about it.
Yeah.
But
in the millennial class, whatever the hell that is.
I have one last
guess
question.
I don't know.
How do we get here?
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
I have a question, and
we were talking about the political stuff that's in Dark Knight.
Look, I need this question answered.
No, we were talking about Home Improvement.
Home Improvement, and I don't know how we got here. I'm so sorry.
Does Last Man Standing have a Wilson character?
No.
Pointedly worst show.
There you go.
Wilson best character.
They do have some guest appearances by like Jonathan Taylor Thomas shows up.
Richard Karn has to show up because what's he doing?
The guy that plays Al shows up.
Richard Karn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he's like, I could have sworn you had 3 boys, and everybody laughs.
Yes. Oh, good.
Looks exactly the same. Hasn't aged at
not
all.
Changed
he doesn't
at
age.
All.
He is like this immortal leprechaun person. Like does not age.
Anyway,
That's funny.
Batman versus Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Dark Knight a lot.
I like. I gotta say, to me, I like Dark Knight more. There are some things about the Batman movie that I like better, but overall, I still think, to me, the Dark Knight's a little better.
Well, I think part of it is that Dark Knight is just fresher in our minds.
Well,
maybe.
not really, no. Because in all honesty, neither of us saw Batman when it came out in theaters.
That's fair.
None of us saw it when it came out in theaters.
Yeah, but how long has it been since you saw the 1989 Batman? I dare
6
say
months.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's been a couple years for me, but I could say the same for the Dark Knight. I don't remember last
Dark
time
Knight.
I watched it.
It's been years and years since I've seen Dark Knight.
Huh.
So Batman '89 is more fresh in my mind.
Point withdrawn.
I really
I've seen
didn't
Dark Knight
care
way
for
more
the Jack Nicholson Joker.
I thought Ledger dove more into the Bronze Age philosophy, which, and psychology as well.
I think as far as the Joker, I think Ledger got it more right.
I think so too.
I mean, Nicholson had fun with it, and I enjoy that, but like
he was right at the time.
Yeah, he was right at the time, and I think you could still do that portrayal now, but if Heath Ledger hadn't happened, I think you could still do the Nicholson portrayal.
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
Heath Ledger happened, and you're like, oh, that's fantastic. And then, of course, you can't do Nicholson or Ledger again.
So you gotta try and reinvent the wheel.
So we get Leto.
No, that was terrible. As much as Bob is wonderful, I'm not sure I agree that supporting characters in Batman are better. I think the supporting characters in Dark Knight are way better.
I didn't even remember Bob.
By the merits of Harvey Dent alone, honestly, and Alfred. I mean.
Well, honestly, Gary Oldman is Commissioner Gordon because
that's a huge selling.
Commissioner Gordon in the '89 one is completely forgettable for me.
Yeah.
Pat Hingle, don't get me wrong. Pat Hingle is memorable to some degree, but overall he's a passing face.
He's no Gary Oldman.
No, he's more of an exposition machine in some. He's like, I remember in the beginning of Batman and Robin, it's like Batman, we have a new villain, and it's just like,
yeah,
okay, Mr. Exposition.
He's less a character and more a plot device.
Exactly.
Commissioner Gordon
He's a MacGuffin.
in the Dark Knight trilogy is an actual character.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like him sometimes more than I like Batman.
Oh yeah.
Why? Yeah, sure.
Well, Batman Year One.
Commissioner Gordon is
fantastic.
And
now they got
no,
J.K.
I mean
Simmons
in the
playing him.
movies. I mean in the movies
okay.
specifically. In the Dark Knight trilogy, there are times where I'm like, man, Commissioner Gordon. Why can't we just get a movie about him?
Well, okay.
I mean, that's not the whole time, but I do really like Commissioner Gordon in those movies.
I hear you.
It's fantastic.
Oh man. All right. Well,
anyway,
you let us in on this, Micah.
All right, everyone. I think that's got it for this. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this. Tell us what you think down in the comments, and hopefully we will see you all. Oh, yeah. Hey,
yeah, keep it civil.
Get nasty. I don't care.
I do.
That goes against the non-aggression principle.
Posting mean comments.
I mean, being a jerk to other people.
If salmoning is against the non-aggression principle.
Yeah, you're physically touching my property. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.